My name is Derek Ngali. My surname you already know. Who my part of the right, so that is in the back there. Welcome to this special day. It's an eventful day for many reasons. But before we get into it, I just want to go through the house rules in this very room that we're in. If you want to serve yourself, there's water, lots of water there. So, bathroom, you go through the back, and you make yourself useful. And then, obviously, for any questions that we may have towards the end, leave it for the end. We're trying to get through the event as quickly as possible. If you have any questions for the event, feel free to ask at the end. So today is filled up a lot with a lot of key speakers, we have a few other special guests, and obviously a presentation from the president himself, the VP, and the entire team of the CCI, which stands for obviously Congolese Community in Ireland. Now, when I was asked to host the event, it was a straight yes. I was, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll do it. And then after I finished on the phone, speaking, as much as I love speaking, whenever I get in front of people, the person is always like nervousness, but we'll deal with the whole event. Right? So before we begin, I want to tell you a quick story about, say, a few years ago, right before COVID, a lot of Congolese people were doing a lot to become biased. A lot of issues that was happening in the communities, what we did like, what we didn't like, what community. There was a lot of issues that needed to be resolved, but then there was only one question we had, like, what are you going to do about it? Obviously, post-COVID, we were in an election that was taking place, that we needed a new leader for the community. And one person was bold enough to step up and say, okay, if my community is me, I'm going to step up, I'm going to try my best to represent the community in the best possible as I can. So that person obviously is the president of the National Community. We stand up so everybody can see this. Let me tell you, he has a lot of work to do, and the community needs a lot of issues that need to be solved, and we hope we can help everybody with the money in order to help the community advance to the next level. So we have obviously the former president here who will be speaking to us. We have a few of our guest speakers, but before we get into that, we're just going to start by we are going to stand up and for the Congolese national anthem, just out of respect for the country, and start the event.
Effort pour l'indépendance, passons nos fonds, longtemps courbés, et pour le bon, prenons le plus bel élan, dans la paix au peuple ardent. Par le labeur, nous bâtirons un pays plus beau qu'avant, dans la paix citoyenne. Entonnez l'hymne sacré de votre solidarité, fièrement saluez l'emblème d'or de votre souveraineté. Don béni Congo, des aïeux Congo, au pays Congo, bien-aimé Congo, nous peuplerons ton sang et nous assurerons ta grandeur. 30 juin au doux soleil, 30 juin du 30 juin, jour sacré, sois le témoin, jour sacré de l'immortel, serment de liberté, que nous léguons à notre postérité pour toujours.
All right, thank you. Two. Guys, can you guys hear me now? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Now, before we begin with the few speakers who's going to be talking about Congo a little bit and also the poetry that we have, we want to start. Congo obviously is a Christian country, and the majority of the Congolese people are Christian. So it's also important to put God first in these events so that everything goes according. So I'm going to call a man of God who is going to open up the event with a quick prayer, and then we're going to get the speakers going. So our Pastor Renwell is going to stand up and say some prayers. All right, can you give a round of applause, please?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you because this is the day that you have made for your daughter. Father God, as we are gathering here for this event about the Congolese community in Ireland, Father God, we want you to be in control. Start with us, and until we will finish, be glorified in everything. And we strongly believe that you will be glorified. Let it be in the name of Jesus our Lord. Let's all pray and we say amen.
Amen. And thank you very much. So we believe that God obviously is going to be with us in today's event. Like I said, guys, the inauguration is the passing of the torch the way I described it. Congolese young people have decided to take the matters into their own hands and try to improve the community in the best possible way. All right, so we're going to start by a little bit of information. We have Arnaud who's going to come over here and share some with you information regarding Congo. Arnaud, can you give him a round of applause, please?
Democratic Republic of Congo, and I prepared like quite a better understanding of each and every one of those. DR Congo, situated in Central Africa, with an area covering 2,345,000 kilometers square, with approximately 100 million inhabitants. Congo has been the colonial Congo since 1879. From 1879 until 1908, the Congo was like a private property of the King of Belgium known as King Leopold II. The Congo got its independence on the 14th of June 1960. Now, from 1960 until 1971, the Congo's name was much changed, as we all know, or we used to know as Zaire. Now, as a country, our first president was Joseph Kabila, which was the first president of Congo, which he led the country from its independence until 1965, which he had as his first minister, which we call also the father of our independence, known as Patrice Emery Lumumba. As the second president we got after Kabila, we ended up having President Mobutu Sese Seko, which he led the country from 1965 until 1997. Through his rule in 1971, the Congo was changed to name as Zaire. Now, the old president of Congo that we know under the name of Laurent Désiré Kabila, who led the Congo from 1997 until 2001. And the fourth president of the Congo was known as Joseph Kabila Kabange, who led the Congo from 2001 until 2019. The fifth president of the Congo is known as Felix Tshisekedi Tshilombo, which he led the country from 2019 until the present. The flag of the Congo holds three colors, which stand the blue, red, and yellow. And through each one of them color, it says something about the Congo. The color blue represents all the water around the Congo. The color red represents the blood of each son and daughter of Congo that gave their life for the Congo. And the yellow represents the wealth of the Congo. The official language that's spoken in Congo is French, and we have 4 main dialects that are known as Swahili, Kikongo, Lingala, and Chiluba. The Congo holds tremendous natural resources, as we all know, such as cobalt, lithium, coltan, copper, petrol, zinc, manganese, diamonds, gold, wood, and so on and so forth. Now, apart from the natural resources, we also have a large area that shows the amazing potential of the Congo as in the domain of agriculture. Now, as I mentioned in my speech about the color of the flag of the Congo, just to bear in mind, the Congo have the second most powerful river after the river Amazon. And also, the Congo holds the most largest imported rainforest after the Amazon is the forest of Congo, as also known as the Congo rainforest. And then to finalize it is, as present time, the man that's leading the Congo is also known as Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo. I wish I had a lot of time to tell you so much wonderful things about Congo. Time allow me to summarize a few things. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That was great. As you guys can tell, Congo obviously is a big country with plenty of resources and natural resources and stuff. But apart from that, we got so many. It's gifted in so many ways, and this is why it hurts for Congolese people. For a country that is so blessed, why are we not enjoying what was given to us by God, if you want to put it together? So our next speaker, obviously, is a young boy from Congo. He's going to say a quick poem for us, which I believe we will be about Congo. His name is Blanchard Mwanza Sangi. Can you guys give him a round of applause, please?
Together we are stronger. It doesn't matter if you're white or black, it's okay, you should not attack. You don't need to judge that it's not who you are. With that nice behavior, you can go far. The world should team up and unite. It will make things just right. When we are together, the world is stronger. We will help and live longer. We shouldn't end this by being rough. If we're nice to each other, it is good stuff. Racism has no place to be. We can stop racism and become happy. Homemade by Blanchard Mwanza Sangi.
Thank you very much. Together we are stronger, together we can go far. All right, guys, so we're going to be introducing a few of the special guests in today's event. First, I would like to call up Mr. Dohi Doolin, and who is Sinn Féin Councillor for quick info.
I just want to say well done to Blanchard. Great poem. And I think it's more relevant today, I think, from what we see happening in Dublin than ever before. Well done. And I think our future is in safe hands with young people like this in charge. I think we should hand the power over to young people. So first of all, my name is Dohi Doolin. I'm a city councillor for Sinn Féin, a Cobra Valley firm in Drimna. I know Mammy very well, one of our community activists in Cherry Orchard, the backbone of our community, has made a huge contribution to making our community better for everybody, better, safer and cleaner for everybody. Well done to Mammy for all the great work you do there. Also delighted to be in the presence of a president. Not every day I get to shake the hand, in fact never do I get to shake the hand of a president, so well done. Delighted to be here, very proud, very honoured to be here. I think though Congo and Ireland are thousands and thousands of miles apart, there is more that brings us together and pulls us apart. I think looking back, I was reminded by a good friend here today about Roger Casement, who, when I was growing up, every Irish person knew about Roger Casement. He was an Irish Republican. He wrote a report about how the Congolese people were being treated by the King of Belgium and how appalling it was, such brutality they were treated. It was a very damning report. And he was later to be executed here in Dublin by Britain, because we too have been engaged in struggle for our independence as well. So when we see countries like yourselves moving on to be totally independent, inspires a country like us as well to move ahead with our independence. We're here in Dublin, sharing a space, and it's really important we support each other. And I think it would be remiss of me to stand here today and not to comment on the ugly rise of racism in Dublin and beyond. I think we need to stand shoulder to shoulder. We need to stand toe to toe against racism. We need to tackle it head on. It shouldn't be just left to one section of the community to tackle racism. It's all our responsibilities to tackle racism head on. We need to tackle it at community level, at political level, at national level, and indeed international level. But our job today, I think, is maybe just to redouble our efforts and make sure that our Dublin and Ireland becomes a shining example of how to tackle and eradicate and reduce racism to the rubbish bin of history. That's exactly where it belongs. I'm not going to go on for much longer because we've Bree Smith who wants to be saying a few words. Other than I wish you all the very best for today. Wish the President all the very best today. You have our support, and if there's anything we can do to work with you in the 12 months ahead, I don't know how long your term is, maybe it's 12 months, maybe 5 years. But to wish you all the best, and we look forward to working with each one of you and with the Congolese community in Ireland. We look forward to working with you and supporting you in any possible way we can. And enjoy today, enjoy your celebrations, and look forward to working with you in the 12 months ahead. Good to meet you.
Thank you very much, Frankie. Our next special guest is Miss Bree Smith, who is the TV for People Before Profits. Can you give a round of applause?
Thank you so much. My voice is a little bit compromised because I had a nasty chest infection like many people over the Christmas, so if you just bear with me. First of all, just to say I'm really privileged. I feel really privileged to be here. It's an honour to be asked. It's lovely to be among you. And I'm not being patronising when I say it, which is all gorgeous. So, I feel so badly dressed in front of you, but you all look really gorgeous and proud, and I hope you're happy here in Ireland. You deserve happiness, you deserve peace, you deserve equality. I think all human beings do, and not to repeat the stuff that he said, which is very relevant and very important, but the issue of racism is really upsetting. I go to bed every night, upset by it. It dominates my life during the day because I live in a community that I see is responding sometimes in a minority, I have to say, who are responding to these issues in a nasty, negative way. But then I also see the vast majority of people in this country are very, very decent and are decent people to be among and to live with. I'm actually reading a book about the Congo at the moment. I'm dipping in and out of it. It's called King Leopold's Ghost. And a lot of the information that was taken from what I mentioned there, Roger Casement's report, looking at how nasty the whole experience of colonization of the Congo was to the people. But the conclusion, and one of the reasons why I wanted to start reading it, is that the remnants of that still dominate the lives of people in the Congo and in the wider African continent, and that is the inequality, the lack of, there's lots of resources. You went through it there very well, Derek, the sort of resources and wealth there is, but it is not shared fairly among the people, and that means there's huge disadvantages to ordinary people right across the planet, and this happens here as well. One of the reasons why I think we have to be really clear about tackling racism is that in this country we also have inequalities. We're a very wealthy country. Ireland rates about the third richest country in the planet. Now I know it isn't in resources, it's more because all of the Facebooks and the LinkedIn and the Twitters are all headquartered here and their profits are counted through here. But nevertheless, it's a wealthy country And yesterday, we saw homeless figures higher than they've ever been before. There's something fundamentally wrong with a country like Ireland when that goes on, and equally something fundamentally wrong with the Congo when you've got some of the wealthiest minerals and resources and people still live in poverty and struggle to survive. So I think together we can make a difference, and I'm very happy, honestly very, very happy as a TD representing my party, People Before Profit, to work with your community, to work with the President. Congratulations to you today. And anything, as has been said by Dai, anything we can do to work together to make things better, please do call on us, lean on us. Very proud to do so. And it's just lovely being here. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mammy, for asking me. I'm really delighted. Thank you.
Apparently, we have a lot in common, for sure. Now, we have a police officer in the house, so you guys are the best behaved. All right, so our next special guest is Miss Zubita Zali, who works for National Guard and the uniform. All right, you go loud with them now because we don't want to be involved. She works in the Inauguration unit, and she's going to tell us a few things about what she does and how she can help the community. All right.
Hi everyone, I didn't realize I was speaking today. But I'm going to say thank you for inviting me. So I'll just say a little bit about myself. So my name is Zubita Zali. I'm originally from Nouvelle. I'm living in Ireland the last 20 years. Joined the force 4.5 years ago. I was based in Drogheda originally, and then I applied for the National Diversity and Integration Unit. I guess being a member of a minority group myself, I understand the issues that I guess that we're here, which one of them is racism and different things that we encounter. And being in the force, I've seen a lot of great work being done and positive outcomes coming out of, I guess, reporting incidents. And where I am now in the Diversity Integration Unit, there's a thing that was set up about 2 years ago, which is reporting hate crime. So if you are a victim of hate crime in any way, if you go online and burden.ie, that's a way to report it, and then what we do is we then filter it through to the right station and make sure that it's investigated properly. I have a few leaflets that I'll leave out here for you, just in relation to that. So, again, as I said, I'm happy to be here. Congratulations to the President. And if you have any questions or any queries or anything like that, we'll be really happy to help.
Thank you very much, guys. Now, moving on to the next part of the event, we have keynote speakers. Okay, so these are the guys who will go more into details about 5 to 10 minutes presentation, just to tell us about what they do and how they can help the new president with the team for the Congolese community in Ireland. So I'm going to call out our first keynote speaker, Mr. Dave Alvey, who is the chair of Graduate Placement Summer School in Ireland. Right? Can you give her a round of applause, please?
Thanks very much for being invited here. And yes, as Derek said, I'm the chair of something called the Graduate Placement Summer School. Actually, we do more than the summer school. We have a competition for school students every year now, and it is they write essays about graduate placement so that they learn about who he was and what he did. We also have an annual commemoration, which will be held at the statue, a beautiful new statue for graduate placement in Donaghiri. We have been doing the summer school since the idea came up when we were celebrating the commemoration of the 1916 Rising. That was a great commemorative year here in Ireland. The Rising is an inspirational event in national development. And there was a number of events in Donaghiri to celebrate the 100 years. And the event that got most people attending was the one about graduate placement. And out of that came the demand, or not the demand, but the idea that the Dundee Council, as the local authority in Dundee, would build a statue to Casement. Now, when we had the first summer school in 2017, already we started to have interest from people from the Congolese. Piero, of course, was the main person, and Mamie as well. So we're very pleased that on our committee we have connection with the Congolese community, and not just the Congolese community here in Ireland, but through Piero we've had tentative links with the Democratic Republic of Congo as well, because Casement was an unusual figure who was educated, grew up in Dundee, where we have this statue, but he was orphaned when he was about 12 and went up to Antwerp, where his wealthy relatives looked after him. And through their connections, he was able to work for the British Foreign Service. So he was just a servant of empire for much of his early life in Africa. But bit by bit he got to know, I think he actually supported the British in the Boer War, so there's nothing different about him in his early time in Africa. But over time, we started to find that his belief in empire could not be sustained by what would actually happen when he was seen on the ground. So he made a journey up the river, the Congo River, to see what was happening with the manufacture of rubber. And he kept careful notes. He was a writer all his life. He wrote a couple of thousand words every day. And from this information, and there was missionaries in the Congo who were horrified what was going on. They just wanted to get as much rubber as possible, and they have to eat and torture the very many people in the Congo to get this done. And it was, as has already been said, it was the Leopold quiet country really. So anyway, Casement wrote the report. But while he was writing it, as often happened in many of his kind of adventures, he himself got sick. It never seemed to get in the way of him delivering the report. And once the report was produced, it was then a question of, like in all political campaigns, it was a question of getting people to read it, getting some notice taken of it, and getting people to do something about what was in the report. But it wasn't the British who were responsible. It was King Leopold II. It was Europeans who were doing this. Who were responsible for the exploitation. But it was ended as a result of what Casement had done. And yes, and I think that there's therefore a memory in the Congo of somebody who had helped get rid of a horrible exploitation. So the name of Casement, and there may be, Piero is always very optimistic, but he says that there's a chance that there will be a statue to Casement, in Congo as well. So it's a link between Ireland and Congo, and we're trying very hard to keep alive what Casement stood for, but not just what he stood for in terms of what he did in Congo, but he did the same thing about exploitation of the native population in Putumayo, in the Amazon Basin. And then he came back and was involved. He was the founder of the Irish Volunteers, and he then went to America and represented the IRB, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, to try and get arms from Germany to assist fighting in Ireland. So he wasn't doing that on his own back. He was a representative of Irish republicanism in Germany during the war. And when he came back, he was unfortunately caught and executed in London. And he made a famous speech at the dock. He was like a one-man United Nations. He was one of the few people in the world at the time who could speak to the President of the United States very easily. He was also on speaking terms with the Pope. He was a big international figure, so they had to go to great trouble in order to execute him. They had to spread, the British intelligence produced, and they were very good at forgery. They produced a forged document to blacken his name. So sorry for going so long, but placement, but we're delighted that we have Congolese involvement, and we're going to have Congolese entertainment this year that's the plan at the summer school this year. We're delighted to have that connection, and I'm glad very much to be invited. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Dave. That was wonderful. So just to speed things up, we're going to move on to our next keynote speaker, who is the CEO of the International Community Dynamics. That is Miss Rose Dumont. Give her a round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me, Pedro, and Mami here. My name is Rose Dumont. You already guessed where I come from Belgium. I've been living in Ireland for 25 years. I could tell, actually, my speech could last 3 hours because there's so much to tell between Belgium and Congo and how I lived it when I was young. You made me a Republican when I went to wait for Mobutu and King Baldwin, who then didn't even look at me when they passed, so I decided that kings belonged in history, in storybooks. Thank you. Also, I've always been admiring your sense of fashion all my life in Belgium. I was always wondering what kind of languages it is people speak. It sounds like French, but it isn't. I guess it's Fringala. So yeah, Congo and myself, we have a long reputation. And here in Ireland, the first time I heard Congolese band, it was Daniel Boyuko. I think a lot of you will know him, who used to play for Langa and play in Cork. So I had to go and talk to him. I interviewed him in the studio. It was absolutely fantastic, and such a sad thing. I would just like to remember him because he was my first Congolese contact here in Ireland, Daniel Boyuko. Lovely, lovely man. And then the second big contact was Piero Gadi, who has helped us create international community dynamics. So for many years, I've been supporting refugees and people seeking asylum in Ireland, and we decided to form an organization, and our organization is called International Community Dynamics. And we do various things. We help people by bringing clothes and stuff like that, but we also started a band, and I know Congolese people love music. That's actually the best at music. So we have one Congolese djembe player with us. It's a band that produces music from 8 to 10 different countries, all people seeking asylum or refugees. We all play together and we bring the music from home, the language from home, sing 8 to 10 different languages. I can speak a few words of Swahili now. But then also, we've also supported them through sports. So we have a cricket team that we started with all the people from Asian countries. And then the last thing we are doing, and I think we can certainly work together with that, collaborate with you, is Recruit Refugees Ireland. So where we have a recruitment agency, especially for refugees and migrants. Because we know that it's not easy to find a job that you're qualified for. It's easy to find a job, go and clean the floors in a nursing home, but if you're a data analyst, you want to work as a data analyst. So that's what we try and do. And the best person to lead us is Piero Ngadi, is our chairperson, wonderful leader, and we couldn't have anyone better. So thanks so much for that, Piero, and I think that immediately links us as well to your community here, and I will repeat the congratulations for to becoming president. So I think we can work together on various fields. We set up an organization. It's not easy. We know how, to be compliant, the governance, all that. If you have any questions, please come, because I've suffered it for the last 2 years, so I can help you. But then we can also work together on things like employment, other kinds of support, because we do all kinds of things. I'll tell you my story of this week. I first had an interview on 96 FM trying to explain people why racism in jokes is always bad. That was a Tommy Tiernan joke. I don't know why I still have to explain that, but it took a while, And then we've also organized a protest or a demonstration in Cork to welcome refugees because there's so much hatred going on. We still have so much work to do, and I would love to work together with you on these kind of things as well. And then yesterday I went from Cork to Galway to meet my son, who I hadn't seen for a long time. And so this morning I came from Galway to Dublin to be here with the people I love the most, because Congo has always been very special in my heart, and I'm very, very delighted to be here. Very honored to have been asked, and please do reach out to me if you need any help. And also we can work together on employment. I'm also now the Vice President of the Africa Solidarity Center. So there as well, there will be things. It's being reorganized at the moment. Hang on a little bit, but it will take a month or so. But then after that, we can also work together on various things. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rose. We look forward to working with you together with the President and the community, of course. Guys, the last speaker for the night is, or for the day, is Miss Eva. Miss Eva Hart. Eva is the representative of the UN High Commission for Refugees. So she'll be dealing a lot with refugees, obviously. Congolese coming into Ireland, most of them are refugees. So we're definitely going to be needing her hands in the coming months. So can you give her a round of applause and she can tell us what she does.
Thank you very much, Derek. Hello, everybody. Very nice to meet you all. As mentioned, my name is Eva Hart, and I am from the UN Agency for Refugees, or UNHCR, but it doesn't really roll off the tongue, and nobody ever knows what we're talking about. So that's who we are. I'd like to thank Piero for inviting me and the newly elected committee. I'm honoured to be here. It's great privilege. It's my favourite part of my job is coming to things like this. So yeah, it's great. Thank you very much. UNHCR is a global organisation. We're working to save lives, protect rights, and build a better future for refugees, asylum seekers, returning displaced people, and stateless people. And in Ireland, that means that we're trying to protect the Geneva Convention. We're trying to protect the right to seek asylum. I've had the great honour of working with our Refugee Advisory Board in UNHCR that we set up last year. It's a refugee-led group. They're aiming to connect and represent their communities and advise us on issues that are important. There are 8 fantastic individuals on the board, and I look forward to introducing you all to them in the future. I think that's going to be a great way for us all to work together and keep in contact over the coming forever. From what I understand, I believe some members of the committee have refugee backgrounds, and in representing your communities going forward, you will likely and inevitably be representing a lot of people who have come to Ireland searching for safety. The work that you are setting out to do is a massive and commendable undertaking, and it's a journey that will be full of ups and downs and twists and turns. Mr. President, your inauguration is at a pivotal time. It's obviously an extremely difficult time for anyone coming to Ireland to seek safety at the moment, and their communities. And especially for people who've done the same thing themselves in the past, and they're now witnessing the loaded language and the outright hostility that are facing some people arriving here today. The work of connecting your community is extremely personal to you all, and it's even more personal in these contexts. You are all part of a legacy, the legacy of your parents or grandparents who came to Ireland to reach safety. And that legacy is what we at UNHCR are hoping and working to protect. And just on a personal note, I was very excited by Piero saying that the young people were taking over and wanted to change everything. Considering myself still a young person, I'm very excited about our future together. So what does it mean to represent a community? This is something that I'm learning about all the time. I've been in this role, this is my 3rd year, and in terms of representing refugees in Ireland, that's a massive ask. The communities, different nationalities, there's a lot that we'll learn from each other in the coming years. But I think so far some of the things that I've worked out that it means is including listening to everyone, regardless regardless of personal disagreements, having compassion, patience, and giving people your time, seeking out individuals who you may or not hear from usually, such as those with disabilities or additional needs, and as very important, looking after yourself, so you can continue to do the work for a long time. I encourage you all to work hard, remember your values, and when it gets difficult, remember your why you started, why you continue, and also remember that you're not alone in the work, and we're all here to help you, and hopefully we'll all be stronger together for it. I look forward to watching your successes and listening to your concerns. I hope this is the start of a very long relationship. Congratulations on your inauguration day, and thank you all for having me for this.
Thank you very much, Eva Hart. All right, guys, we're going to move on to our next part of the ceremony. Okay, so, Mr. President, as Eva mentioned, you're located to take this position, and there's so many help for you there to support in order to make your task a little more easier. But before you, there were guys who believed in something, they had a vision for the community, and they had to face hard battles, right? But without them, you wouldn't be in the position that you are. So, with that being said, I want to call out the former president of the Congolese community in Ireland, who is a big figure among the community, and he is also a man of God, and he's going to say his farewell goodbye as he passes the torch to the next generation. All right, can we give it a big round of applause?
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is really a great day. When we say this is a great day, you see, because this is a new page in the history of Congolese diaspora right here in Ireland. I know that I was given only just 5 minutes, but I will, if you would not allow me, to stretch a little bit, because we cannot talk about the Congolese community without talking a little bit about the history of Congolese diaspora right here. It was around 1995 and 1996 that we had the first Congolese community here in Ireland. At that time, we had only the number of 40 people here in Ireland, 40 Congolese people. And then 1995 till around April 1996. And we decided to set up the community with 40 people, or 40 Congolese. And then by God's grace, we started with the church. And by God's grace, through the church, we set up an English class where they can have people coming to learn English free of charge. And then I thank God, the teacher's team there, she lives in Nouvelle. And after that, around at the end of 1996, we had something like 100 people. Suddenly the community started to grow. And that was something really great to see that when the community, just start to grow. I can see other people here, they were just, babies. But today I can see them grown up. One of you in the team was there. And then I thank God until we saw other people coming, Piero, and so many people to join the community. And then until we start to have things like to have the community itself. The first president was Moshengo. Moshengo was the first president. And then we had Justin. And after Justin, we had Papa Lukusa. And then there was a time was really quiet and nothing happened. And then Papa Lukusa asked me, said, why can't you come and help us? Because I was the pioneer of the Congolese community that time when we had only 40 people. And then I said, let's come and then have the community. So that's why we came to have the community. Unfortunately, there was a time where COVID was just at the door. So it was very difficult really just to move with the COVID, and then different things happened around. So there was a time where we decided to say, listen, when we came in this country, I remember I was 37. Now I'm 63, I'm going 64. Even if I look young, but if I look young, it's because of my wife. She take care of me. Thank you, President Musengo. Musengo is there. He's the first Congolese president in the first Communauté. I just mentioned your name here, and you were somewhere in the car. Yeah, just that's why I said, just they gave me only 5 minutes. Really apologize because I wanted really to know exactly where we came from with the Congolese community. Now, what I was saying, and after that, when the COVID came, it was difficult really just to move forward with that community. And then I came to with the group I was working with. They said, listen, the time when we came, I was 37. Now we are 63. We are going 64. But we have young people here with new vision. And then they can change things and they can bring a new dynamic in the community. Because you came like babies, children, you are our children, learn here, and went to school here, and then you got skills here. So why not to bring new dynamic to our community? And then we decided, that's why you remember I made an announcement, said we need a new president. And then I emphasized, we want young people. And then I thank God when I saw that President Gires was among the candidates, and then another candidate, and was all of them, they were young. And suddenly, just he was elected, and congratulations again, and then all we were happy. So today, if we celebrate it, because this is a new generation, and they would like to bring a new dimension in the community, the Congolese community. But just what I would like to say is that we came with a specific roadmap the time when we came. But now, you young people, new generation, you are bringing new dynamic. You have a new roadmap. The roadmap that you will bring is just to do all the best to see the Congolese community to become a really asset in this country. Why not to see one day within the Congolese community members of the Gardi? I remember in 2005, we tried to do the same thing. You were in that audience. We called the Gardi so that the community, our young people can join the Gardi force. Unfortunately, no one of them were able just to join. But it would be really great, because if we can be able to become an asset for this country, to join the police force, to join the political parties, to join, why not one day we see in the parliament, we see one of Congolese community member talking in the parliament. And they say, who's that? It's from the Congolese community. Who is it? It's a TD. So I think this is exactly what we are doing. This is what we have to aim for. Another thing that before finish, I would like to say, just you guys, you have skills. And because you have skills, you can do it. The thing that we were not able to do it, you can do it. I remember that in 2020, by God's grace, I was appointed by Minister John Odonobo to be in the board to set up the policies for research integration agency through the Department of Justice. At that time, I was the only Black people to join that board in the Department of Justice. We were able to set up policies for research and integration agency, that what you have now by God's grace. So I was among them. But what I noticed, this country needs us. That's why they opened the door for us. So we should not deceive this country. We have to do all our best to bring what we can in order to support this country. And we understand that the only way for integration is employment. So we have to go to work because job is the key for integration. Help our children to go further with studies. Our mothers to go, even women, to go further with our studies. I was privileged simply because my wife is 58 now. I encourage her. Only this year, she just completed her degree in environmental health. 58 years old. She's a mother. She's a grandmother. Well, she made it. So if a mother, a grandmother can make it, so you young people, you can do it as well. Just to finish this, because we have a new president, let all of us be together to support him. To support him so that we can thank God for our country, the Congo. We are here, we have to raise our voice for the Congo. You know, Congo has been suffering almost 30 years. We have seen the hypocrisy of international community. We've seen how, I give an example, you know what happened in Ukraine. What happened in Ukraine, all over the place people are talking about what happened in Ukraine. But for 30 years, they are raping our mothers. They are killing our children. They are killing our parents in the Congo. But international community is doing nothing. Quiet. Rwanda is killing in our country. But simply because with the complicity of the international community, no one said anything. So young people, and especially for this community, for this team, I'd like to invite you. You have all the good friends here. You have TVs. Raise our voice. Talk to them and just point the things as they are. Do the job of Roger Kessman. I thank God when they were talking about Roger Kessman. I think there are years ago, I thank God because when I saw you, I think you can remember, we had a project as well to do the project Congo and Roger Kessman with a friend, Dr. Ronan, and some other people. I live in Shankill with some other people who live in Daleri. We were thinking to do something about Roger Kessman, but unfortunately we didn't do it. But I think it's time for this community to raise up and talk about our country. We have only one nation, which is the Congo. And then we have to raise our voice so that the international hypocrisy has to stop. They know what they are doing. We cannot have this without our country. We cannot have the mobile phone that we have without our country. They are killing your people because of that. So we have to raise our voice so that one day that has to stop in our country. So this is the mandate that you young people, you should have. The new dynamic that you have, bring it. We have good friends here, those who are in parliament. Go with them in the parliament. I know the island is ready to help the Congo. If Ireland was ready to do it with Roger Kessman, if Ireland was ready to do it, the time of peacekeeping in the Congo, the time of the war of Aluba. So the island can do it today when all of us will raise and we can raise our voice and tell them it's time to stop that international community hypocrisy, what's going on in Congo. So thank you very much. I'm sorry for the time. I know it's a good man, you an intelligent man, and you can, and all of us will do something. Thank you.
Guys, can we give a big round of applause again? As I mentioned earlier before, we wouldn't be here without them. The foundation has been set. We're just taking up on when they left off, and hopefully we can leave the community in a much better place than what we found it. So what I'm gonna do is, just as part of the invitation, I'm gonna call the former presidents back over here, and I'm gonna call New here as a passing of the torch in New Era. All right, so can I get a big round of applause? Please get this moving as president, the former president is passing on the new torch to the new president, all right? First lady, would you like to come on? Come on. Because we're looking at the is obviously new generation of the Congolese communities building. Okay. Alright, guys. So we do have the Congolese youth, obviously, we know how much work needs to be done, and we will continue to do our best to try and deliver the very best possible. But you guys have been sitting down for over an hour, so we decided to be nice and give you guys a quick break. So 5 minutes to kind of stretch the legs out, loosen up, have a cup of tea, just a glass of water, and then we'll bring you back again in 5 minutes for the main event. All right, so see you back in about 5 minutes. Okay?
Ça va?
See ya.
I'm just a half.
or you just kind of like say, I reach out and I always put a hand up. I always avoid it. That's why
President Oza Molimo wa ministre. Ana ministre. When you come with their flowers.
Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. Everyone look good. All of their attention. Beautiful. Yeah, much better. Beautiful. What a tip.
Siko tozobanda direct donc deuxième session 5 minutes esili siko tozobanda siko donc président sikoyo apesa masola gouvernement na ema tomoni bakonzi benene balewa bainspecteur bato ya council bato ya association ya barefugee tozomona
move on to the part two of the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again for part 2. This is where the main event really kicks in. That's why we're all here. This is why we're here. Okay, so before I do that, you heard Pastor Rimba obviously mention the pioneer of the Congolese community and the first ever president. So we're just going to call him, we didn't plan on speaking today, we're just going to call him on for 2 minutes to say a few words about what it was like running the community back at his time, a few obstacles that he faced, and what we, the Congolese young people, are to expect in the coming years, per se. All right, so please give one applause for Mr. Michel.
Okay, thank you very much. I know Pastor Remba said everything that needed to be said, and I just want to thank everybody here, okay, and we have a lot of faces. I know David Lara from 20 years ago, yeah, when we were still, we used to call ourselves Congo Solidarity Group, because a lot of places, a lot of groups had somebody who was a Solidarity Group or Afghan Solidarity Group, so let's say the fashion was to go something Solidarity Group. So we were a Congo Solidarity Group. And I remember going to the radio here. I remember meeting a lot of people when they arrived, but Pastor Remba was already here when I arrived. So really the focus when we arrived was different from now, okay? The focus at that time was really to explain what was happening in the Congo. Because a lot of us were coming here, most of us came here as some as refugees, some as asylum seekers. It was important for the Irish government to understand what was happening in the Congo, so they understand why we were here. So the focus was really practical. And when people got rejected, we as Congo Solidarity Group, we would actually write letters. We're always there, Pastor Ritter is there to say that. And we were sending them videos to make sure that they understand, because a lot of people never heard about what was happening in the Congo. So our role was really to make sure that they understand the situation so they can accept, us here. So that was really the focus. And after that, we started organizing a lot of events to make sure that Irish people would come. On the 30th of June, that's our national day. We were organizing a lot of parties to invite people to see, to present our country, posters, etc. So again, really it was more making sure that they understand our situation, making sure that our people here can find their way. A lot of people then didn't have a good command of the English language, so we used to organize a lot of English classes. Really, it's a different focus from the new generation. Most of you are born here. I met a lot of people there. I know their parents already, okay? And so it's a different, I think now what we have to focus on, this is just something I'm thinking out loud, is more, as Pastor Remba said, contribute in the society where we are right now in a positive way. Okay, so it's a very different focus from when we arrived. I'm not going to take too much time. Okay, we can always talk maybe informally later on, but I just want to say that I wish you good luck, okay? And as Pastor Remba said, we're here to support you in ideas and everything else. Okay, thank you very much.
I think it's fair to say that when we look at the Congolese community in Ireland, I think it's fair to say many Congolese people think that the Congolese community in Ireland didn't do enough work. So I don't think they get so much credit for how much they've done in order to lay the foundation, because being able to, most of us probably wouldn't be in the country if our parents' assignments are rejected. So I really think looking at now, you can really appreciate that how much they had to go, how much work they had to put in so that we have the life that we have. So we really, really thank you for all the hard work they've done over the past 20 years or so since you got here. And I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. We, the Congolese youth, will do our best to not disappoint you and make you guys proud, all right? So thank you. Another thing is, you guys heard from our keynote speakers and some of the special guests that was here with us today. One of the things they mentioned is if you guys were paying attention is I want to thank you for inviting me on taking maybe stuff like that. So if it wasn't for the two people, we'd probably be a room full of black people. All right, so not a single Irish person would be here. So I think it's also fair to give credit where it's due. Yeah. So what I want to do at this moment is first of all give a big round of applause for my women for inviting all the guests. Without her, we wouldn't have the guest speakers that we had, the keynote speakers that we had. And another person that we want to thank is obviously, like I mentioned earlier in the speech, is my dad. Your own daddy. So my dad is obviously the reason I do what I do. The inspiration came from him, the motivation, the influence came from him at such a young age. I didn't see the value in what he was doing back then, but now I see the importance for what he did. I'm sorry, but you still have to start with the whole page. Yeah, so you guys see me all the work that we try to do with the community and stuff like that. Influence obviously came from a lot of people, but I said he's also the biggest influence in my life because he made me realize how important it is to fight for your community, to fight for your country, to have that love for your country, and that's what I try my best to do as well. So he is the biggest influence in my life, and once again, all the key speakers and the keynote that spoke tonight is mostly because of him. So again, me as a child, I'm proud that you're my father. I'm proud of all the work that I've done, and again, just like all of every other communities here, we'll try not to disappoint you guys in the coming years. All right, so now you can stand up and you guys. So let's move on to the main event. So the main event obviously is the inauguration night where our new president was elected. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Congolese youth, of course. So when Pastor put out the invitation and said, I'm looking for the new president, specifically young people, he knew there was time for change. But then what also we didn't know was the time was a bit too short. Many Congolese young people didn't get the invite to play. But like I said earlier, one person was bold enough to say, I'm going to go for it. One person was courageous enough to say, I'm going to go for it. I'll go by this quote by JFK. Most of you know, do not ask what you do for your country, but ask what your country can do for you. All right? So we all knew he was running for it. So he had our support because we knew the vision was clear, what we were looking to achieve. Me and him have gone back and forth through Instagram Live, social media. We talked about certain issues back and forth. We had a few projects to work with the community, but it wasn't the time. But now that he is the president-elect, so we look forward on what he's going to bring forward to the community, under his leadership, what the community will achieve over the next coming years. So guys, without further ado, what I'd like to do is I'd like to call the newly elected president now. He's going to say a few words. Hello everyone.
So first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming. I wanted to kind of like honor people. I know that a lot of people wanted to come, but they couldn't come. Just because we wanted this to be a small event. We wanted to honor the people who showed up when we had to vote. There was only a few of us, but the fact that you showed us that, respect and acknowledgement, I wanted to kind of like share with you all my, as a token of my appreciation, to invite you only. But then we'll do a bigger event with everyone else where they can ask questions, where they say whatever they want. But this one is especially for you. So for just showing me that respect without even seeing my vision, you came You asked us questions, me and my opponent, and then we answered the question, and that's how the votes came about. So I really appreciate it. So thank you. So everyone was up here introducing themselves, so I want to do the same as well for people, obviously for our guests, people who don't know me. So, Reggie from the Congo. So my name is Jerez Mukundai. I've been living in Ireland for 22 years. So I came here very young, as Pastor Remba said, at a very young age. So I've always been implicated in our community. But one thing I really always wanted to do was put our community on a pedestal. I felt like we were always missing something. There were always other communities that were put up front as opposed to us. So I kind of wanted to add a bit of value to that. I'm 35 years old. I'm married, so see, my wife is here. And then I have 3 children. So I have 3 boys, and I have also siblings. So I'm the eldest in my family. There's 5 of us, and I kind of look after them as well. And I also have my parents here. So I want to obviously thank all those people for their continued support since I arrived in Ireland. So now, the reason I'm here today is officially share with you all my vision, what I think should be done for the community, how I think we can move forward, in spite of the lack of resources that from time to time we miss. But one thing that I just noticed from listening to everyone here, we do have a great support system in place. People who believe in the Congo, people who believe in people like us who came here and integrated, and people who are really looking to help us. So that is the goal, and I promise that I will be knocking on your doors. I will be bothering you all with so many questions, so many requests. So look forward to it. So today I want to really present myself in front of you, share with you all the vision. I want us to have a conversation. I don't really want to present because a lot of times I do this already in words. So I'm trying to have a conversation with people who share something similar with me, which is the community where I come from, but also the community that I'm currently living in, which is Ireland. So I'm going to kick things off, and what I would like to do is, if you are from the Congo, please, watch through the slides, write down your notes. At the end, I want to answer questions, and also for our guests today, who also believe in what we are doing, please ask as many questions as you want, because I want it to be a collective effort as opposed to just me coming up with ideas, which I can do, but I kind of want us to all work together. Sounds good? So, first of all, as you can see, the first slide is just to say it's the Congolese community in Ireland. This is essentially what CCI stands for. The reason I'm calling it 2.0 is because it's a new regime. Pastor Remba and the previous presidents did a great job just, setting the foundation. But this, what we're about to do now is just something new, which is why we're calling it 2.0. So, as always, when you are doing something in life, when you're trying to accomplish something, you need to have a mission statement. So, this is the mission statement that myself and my team came up with in order to represent the Congolese people in Ireland. So what does it say? The first thing is we want to remind the world of just how great we are as a community. We also want to make sure that we are inspiring new moments, which is one of this that we are actually experiencing today. We also want to bring a new form of hope, because this is something that is lacking, I believe, in our community. Just having hope that one of us will be up there one day. And I think Pastor Remba said it as well nicely when he said he wants to see one of us in the gather station. He wants to see one of us in the parliament. He wants to see one of us in these big buildings. And I think that's what we're here to do, to really inspire the youth so that they can also go far and beyond, whether it's career, whether it's talent, whatever the case may be. But we really want people to have hope and really believe that they can achieve something. And then we also want to rebuild our community because, you know, it's at a stage where I don't think we want it to be in, but we really want to rebuild it from scratch. But we also believe that it has so much potential. We all know that Congo is rich in so many ways. And we know that we can go so much further in life as well. So now that we've mentioned all of these things, I know that we have the people, you know, you all came here to represent the Congo in some way, shape, or form. We have the talent, and also we have the resources. So now what we really want to do is make the change. It doesn't necessarily have to be for me. It could be for a younger brother, a younger sister, a younger son or daughter. But the goal is to lay a foundation or have a legacy so that moving forward, we're leaving something behind that is worth fighting for. So, CCI is not just Dublin. Today we found ourselves here in Dublin, but CCI again stands for Congolese Community in Ireland. So we're here to represent everyone who's from our country and living in Ireland. So as part of my vision, one thing that I will focus on a lot is making sure that we are showing the love across Ireland. It's not just Dublin, it's Carlow, it's Cavan, it's Kilkenny, every single county out there, as long as it is in the Republic, as long as it's in Ireland Republic, okay? So Belfast and everything else that becomes the UK, but we want to really focus on the Republic of Ireland. So this is the goal. So we'll have CCI sitting in Dublin, but we will have teams spread all across Ireland, people like us. And again, it's going to be a diversified team. We're going to have a team of young, middle-aged, old, it doesn't matter. We're not looking at the gender, we're not looking at any of that. We're just looking at people who share the same vision as us and who are willing to also help us move forward. So this is the global vision when it comes to CCI. As I said, we're not going to just focus in one area, but we're going to focus in everywhere, but we're going to do things slowly. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon, okay? So we'll take baby steps, but the end goal is to make sure that we're able to spread, you know, our values across the entire island, so that everyone who's from the Congo living in Ireland can see that they have someone or a team who's willing to help them. So now, as we always say, in everything that we do, there's no I in there's no I in team. So I want to introduce to you all my team, the team that we're building, the team that will continue to grow. This is only some people. There's still more to go up there. When I first decided to do this, I knew that some people would be behind the idea, some people would be behind the idea, but I didn't think that so many people would actually believe in the vision, believe in what I believe in, which is let's make a change, let's do something slightly different. Now that we might have the resources maybe Papa, Pastor Emma did not have before, how can we leverage that so that, you know, we can push the community forward? So what I did was I went out and I started speaking to different people, sharing some glance of the vision and getting a reaction out of them. And I was able to then assemble a group of people who I believe are talented, who I believe that they are very passionate about the community, and who I believe that are basically here to really help, and they also feel like there's a gap in our community that we can also fill. So the first person I would like to, I'll just ask them to stand up so you can see their beautiful faces. I'm gonna call out their name. I'm gonna say maybe one or two things about them. But then, you know, afterwards, if you want to speak to anyone, you can. But just because of the time, I just want to make sure that we are going to, you know, we're actually touching on the main topics. So the first person I want to call up is Walter Kibangu, who is our Vice President. So if you can stand up. Thank you, Walter. So Walter is young men just like me from the Congo, very passionate about the community, very intelligent, has a clear vision, knows how to represent the Congo. So we do share a lot of, we have a lot of similarities, but I didn't ask him to come on board because of those things. I asked him to come on board because of the passion he has and the time that he gives to our community on a regular basis, and also the calmness he has and the composure. Now, we all know that when you're dealing with our community, because I'm from it, so I know it, it's never easy, so you need to be very calm and composed, and those are the two main traits that I looked for when I was looking for a VP, and he embodies that, so welcome to the team, welcome. So the next person, we share the same surname. So this person is my sister. When I first thought about her, I knew people would ask questions. They'll say, oh, he's just building a team and he's gonna just put his family and that's it. But one thing they don't know is that they just don't know who she is and what she does and what she's actually good at, right? So first of all, I'm going to introduce her. So her name is Fallon Mukundai, if she can stand up as well. So Fallon is, we'll put the sibling part aside, but she's someone who is very, very organized, someone who is very punctual. She gives me a hard time a lot of times because of it. She's someone who is very, and she knows exactly what she wants, and she knows when to get it, and she knows how to get the other person to also do the work. And as I said again, she's very organized. She's done so many different things, and I just felt like that was the right person for me, because she would also challenge me as well. That's why we all need that. Don't just take someone who's just gonna say yes. You need someone who will also challenge you so that you can bring the best out of you. So Fallon will take the role of the exec sec, so she'll be helping me with so many things, planning all of these things. I didn't know some people here would come, but it's thanks to her. So she really is the backbone of this administration. So I'm really happy and appreciative to have her on board. So moving on, the next person I want to call out is Joshua Mbala. So Joshua is he's younger than me, but that's not what I really enjoyed about him is that I've never met him before. He's a young talent from the Congo. He heard about CCI. He saw Pastor Emba's I think speech when he wanted young people to come forward, and he basically volunteered. He reached out. He said, I want to know more. What is the vision? What do you want to do about with the whole new CCI? And then I connected with him. We spoke. We had a candid conversation, and he told me so many things about what he felt like was missing within the youth. And we really connected just based on the love we have for our country. So again, I didn't know him, he didn't know me, but we have one thing in common. We are from the Congo, and we really want to do something great. So again, well done, Joshua, and I appreciate you coming forward to support the youth. So as you can see, yes, let's clap for him. So he has a lot of work to do when it comes to the youth, but we all have a lot of work, and I'm very obviously, I'm very sure, and I'm 100% believe in his vision, because I know it's also part of what I want to achieve, and I'm confident that he will do a great job. Now, the next person I want to call up is Nicola Lotefa, if you can stand up. So Nicola is, again, this is someone I know, someone we've done a lot of things together in sports. And again, similar to me, he's always wanted, us to be at a different stage in life. So myself and Nicola, we've integrated in different communities. So we are those people who you would see, you know, if a Nigerian thing was happening, we will show up. Zimbabwe was like, and we weren't going there just, you know, just to have fun, but it was more to kind of see what everyone else was doing and see what we can also bring, what we can also apply in our own community. So again, I did not take him on board because we know each other, but it's more because of the skill sets that he has. So Nicola is actually a qualified accountant, which is what he will be doing as part of CCI. We want to have transparency when it comes to money, so we will have a couple of people handling that as well, and that is the role that he will be taking. So not only that he's, you know, he believes in the community, but it's also his field, and something that I think he will be able to help us in terms of, you know, the vision and what we want to achieve as well. So welcome aboard, Nicola. Now, as you can see, it's a very diversified team. We have a lot of people, but we have people who are good at different things, and that's what you need to do when you're a leader. You need to be able to, you need to be selective and pick the right people, the people who have the, you know, they have the faith that we need in the community, they have the passion for the community, but they're also good at something, you know, and if they're not good at something, try to coach them. But the next person I want to call out is Lisa Kalasa, if she can. Now, Lisa, obviously, I know her as well, but I know her, again, based on her passion for the community. A lot of people that are here, that they're just people like me who are more passionate than anything else, but are also willing to learn in different fields and do the right thing for their community. Lisa is someone who came along and was very, you know, when she heard that, you know, CCI was electing a new president, she showed support. She invited others to also show support, and she's really, really interested in terms of what we have and what we're building for the new CCI, and I really appreciate her coming aboard. Now, Lizette will be slightly different because she's gonna do two different roles. So the first role will be, should be our press sec, because she speaks English very well, and we feel like generation, we need two people, so it gotta be in our main language. We don't, you know, carry that torch always, but we also make sure that we are communicating with the youth. So that's one of her roles, and then she'll also be a treasurer for CCI, because I want to make sure that there's full transparency. I want to make sure that people can see what we're doing with the money that people will be contributing, but I also want to make sure that she is challenging me when it comes to what we need to do with certain funds. So welcome aboard once again, Lizette. The next person I want to call up is Gracia Sana, if she can stand up. Thank you. So Gracia is someone that I went out to look. I basically looked for her. I saw what she was doing on social media. I saw how passionate she was about the Congo. She participated in the last Miss Congo as well, came number 2. But for the most part, it was kind of like her skill sets that really kind of gravitated me towards her. And she will be leading the role of kind of like everything that's kind of content creation, social media, helping us with our website as well that we are building at this moment. So once again, welcome aboard. Welcome on board, Gracia. I know that our social media is doing really well at the moment, and the person who is taking care of all of that is her. So thank you. So the next person, this one is a special one because, again, she saw some of the work that we have done. And I met her in Waterford about 2 weeks ago. So this person reached out. Again, I didn't know who she was. She didn't know who I was, but I think the message did all the talking for us. And through that, she reached out, we connected. So I want to introduce Edidia Mwabana, if she can stand up. So I think think the general consensus, based on everyone's kind of like speech today, was we need to contribute towards the nation that we are living in right now, which is Ireland, especially the job market. So she will be helping us when it comes to making sure that the youth or just everyone is, up and running when it comes to searching for jobs and finding the job that actually meets their skill set. So she's great at what she does. She's achieved so much at a younger age, and I think that there's only more to come, and CCI hopefully will be that additional foundation for her. So welcome aboard once again. And then the next one is someone who everyone knows is kind of like, my next man is always with me everywhere I go, but I challenge him all the time. So it's not just because he's one of my best friends that, I hired him for the sake of it. It's because I believe in his talent and I believe in what he does. And I strongly believe that he can also contribute towards CCI. So I want to call up Arno Gerard Zinga. So for anyone who doesn't know Arno, he's a historian when it comes to the Congo. At his age, he knows so many things. So he's able to have conversations with the elders around about the Congo and how, obviously he gave us just a sneak preview of what he can do. So he knows a lot about the Congo and he will be helping us gather a lot of information so we can also educate our young brothers and sisters here who sometimes can be lost because it's always important to know at least where you come from. A lot of us claim island here, which is great, but you also need to know where you came from, what language you speak in your country, what type of food you eat. All of those things are things that he'll be able to help us just to continue educating the young people in here, but from the Congo. So, moving along, we also have Victoria Musitongo that I would like to call up as well. So, Victoria is someone, again, that I knew just through social media. We've had a couple of debates when it comes to different things, and that's what it's all about, right? It's all about having, conversations, even when you disagree, but you're all from the same kind of like country, you believe in the same things. So the fact that I do believe in her passion, and she's also very talented because she has experience in so many fields and has also experienced certain things that can also help us when it comes to educating people within our community. So she will be helping us on the legal side of things because that is what she's studying currently. And she also has so many connections that can also help us support people from our community. So welcome aboard to Victoria. And then the next person is, is Derek Gaddy, if he can stand up. So Derek will be helping us with in the sports kind of like field, because again, this is something that is almost like a taboo if you're from the Congo, especially when you're speaking to our mothers or our fathers, because they just believe that you can eat anything and you'll be fine. So what we're trying to do is, with the help of Derek, he's going to help us. We're going to do a lot of activities on a monthly basis. We're going to bring everyone out, whether you're young, you're old, it doesn't really matter. We just want to make sure everyone feels included. And what Derek will also be doing will be that he'll be educating people around, what are maybe some of the things we need to put in our system so that, we are here as long as possible for our children. So again, we're very excited to have you on board, Derek. The next person I'd like him to stand up is Eloba, who is just there. So Eloson is someone who will literally die for the Congo. And I mean that he's very much, like if there's something that involves the Congo, he's gonna come. If it's at 5 a.m., he'll show up. He lives in Port-Liche, but when it comes to any events involving the Congo, he's always the first one there. He's a patriot and someone we should really, we should all try to be like him. So we're still getting there, but the point I'm trying to make is like we need people like that who are very, they claim where they come from, they know their history, and they are willing to go above and beyond. So HELLOSONTV will be helping us in the kind of like press field, and he will be speaking in Lingala so that our mothers, our fathers who are not comfortable in English, they can understand, and hopefully the message will sink in quite well. And then finally, I don't know if she's here. She's not here, but I want to also call out Davina Lenga on my team as well. She couldn't be here today, but you will meet her in the upcoming weeks when we do so many other things. But Davina is someone who's very young, but very, very talented. I've had the chance to have different conversations with her. She knows what she's doing, she knows what she wants, believes in the community, and similar to me, has also experienced other communities, and she knows that there's a lot of work that we can also do so that we can meet the same expectations. So she's going to help us in the HR department just to make sure that people that will be working with CCI are compliant. We have rules and that everyone is adhering to those rules. And this will not be like just, you're just coming to work whenever, but we really need everyone to treat it as if they were in their day-to-day job. So she'll be helping us with that. So this is just a quick introduction to the team. And then now we're going to get into the real topic, which is companies and who are we, what is happening, and what are the things that I think we need to address as a nation in Ireland. So the first thing is to acknowledge what are the issues, what are we facing at the moment, what are the hurdles, and how do we want to tackle those hurdles. I said, I put up here that we are a broken community. I know there's a negative connotation attached to that, but it is essentially a fact, right? So at the moment, the community is not where it needs to be, and I believe because we know that we can change something and make something positive out of it. So for every solution, we need to acknowledge that there's a problem, and I'm here standing in front of you to say that there's a problem, but there's a problem that we can all fix if we all gather together. So I know that there's a lack of support for one another. That's something that is quite apparent. There's a lack of trust, and there's a lack of belief as well. And one thing that is extremely important is that it's really hard to guarantee a bright future for our children because we just don't know where the community is going. So it's a little bit unstable. We want to make sure that we get into a stable position so that a young kid can actually feel like they are part of something special. So someone also mentioned here, homeless is big. I think it was one of our keynote speakers. So the same way as the Irish people are experiencing, homelessness, it's the same way that this is also happening within our community. So it's something that needs to be addressed. Congolese census in Ireland as well. It's really hard to even get the stats that we need when it comes to finding out how many people from the Congo live here, whether it's in Dublin, in Galway, in Cork. So this is something that it's really hard to get our hands on. Yes, we can do some research, but if you do that, you'll notice that the last data that was shared was from 5 to 6 years ago, something along those lines. And this is something that we also need to address. So we know where everyone is staying and we know what support they need from us. And then obviously representation is huge, right? I think we all need to feel represented in every single field out there. And I think that is something that has been lacking for quite some time. And I guess myself and my team are here to hopefully fill that gap. And then we have a healthcare issue. So whether it's in Ireland or just in the UK, this is just something that is quite ongoing. We want to make sure that we're addressing the physical, the mental, and the social well-being, which is, it is a big thing. We will focus a lot on the education piece, making sure that people know what is happening. and also sharing information so they know where to go and how to get the information. And then integration and inclusion, extremely important. So again, we said that we're here to not only represent where we come from, but we're also here to adapt to the Irish society and also do things that make sense, that are positive, so that we are also viewed in a positive manner by the people who have welcomed us in open arms. And then location is key. We don't have anywhere, right? So as you can see today, you all came in, this is the hotel. Ideally, I would have loved for us to meet at a place where that is owned by us, that is, that has the Congolese decor and everything of that nature. But unfortunately, that's not the case. We need to have a physical location where we can do things that are meaningful to the Congolese and that kind of like reminds people where they came from and where they're going as well in life. So we like obviously community centers, but we also like just venues in general. And these are things that we need to address as a community. Congolese businesses as well. So there's a lot of talent out there. A lot of people do beautiful things, whether it's hair, whether it's makeup, but we don't know where to find them, right? So we want to put them, put a bit of light on them so that these people, they have the information, they can go out and be great in life, depending on whatever product or services that they sell to the people out there.
It's not the part.
And then finally, obviously not finally, but before that we have recognition. As I said, Congolese people do a lot of things in Ireland, but they're not recognized. But we need to, again, shed some light on those people so that they feel like someone, at least from that community, is looking out. And once we do that, then it's easier for the other people, so which will be the Irish people and other communities, to also acknowledge how those people are. And then finally, finance is always an issue. We want to make sure that there's some type of financial security for us that are from the Congo living in Ireland. We want to make sure that people are aware of some retirement schemes, life insurance, mortgages, just things that sometimes people feel like, okay, I have no idea or no clue being in that business, but it's something that is achievable if the right person speaks to you and holds your hand and kind of like, walks you through, different steps that you have to make in order to get there. So if I was to open up the floor here, there's so many people will have other things to add. I completely agree with that, but these are the things that we're going to start addressing first as administration. This vision is something that we came up with now, but you will continue to add on to it because everyone has different ideas, everyone can experience different things, but we want to make sure that we are addressing the things that we believe is a priority for the community. So, what is our vision now that we've looked at what are the issues happening within our community? So I'm going to first describe what is CCI. So a lot of times we just hear it and we think, okay, it's Congolese, what is it? CCI obviously stands for Congolese Community United, so that's number one. But what is it that we do? Essentially, we are a structured administration. We are devoting our lives to help people from our community. So that is what we do, and that is what we signed up to do, and that is what we hope to achieve in the next couple of years. But before achieving those things, we need to address the things that I mentioned earlier on. So our vision is representation is number one. We need to be represented everywhere in Ireland. Number two is awareness. Awareness can be split into two different spectrums. So the first one is CCI, people knowing where to find us, knowing what to do, and knowing how we can help them. And on the other side of things, when I talk about awareness, is being able to know what is actually happening out there, being knowledgeable on other things, and just knowing where to get the support that you need. And it is something that I believe has been missing and that we need to address. The third part is enablement. We need to make sure that people feel enabled and they have the resources that they need to succeed in life. By enablement, it could be anything. It could be you passing on information. Everyone here today has something to add, right? So right after presenting this, I'm going to shake a few hands and I'm going to ask you to help me, to enable me to achieve something. So that is essentially what enablement is, and it is something that has been lacking as well in our community. Recognition, which I mentioned earlier on. We want to recognize people from the Congo for things that they are good at, for accomplishments, for achievements, for their talents, for just anything that they do that we believe is meaningful. And then education. So every day we all learn something new. So education is going to be key, and we want to make sure that we are continuously educating people in different fields. Integration. There was one of our keynote speakers spoke about refugees here, for example. We want to make sure that everyone feels included, feels integrated, they have the support, they know what the Irish system is all about, and they are able to really follow, different, rules within the Irish society, and they have someone as well to go to for help. But we want to make sure that it's not only integration, but we're also focusing on including everyone. So it's not just the refugees, but people from our community living in different areas in Ireland. And then finally, transparency. We want to be transparent on everything. We want the goal is for the community to be out there, but we want to make sure that if we were to be audited, everything is up to speed. We have all the paperwork. We are sharing the numbers with the people who will be contributing. We want to make sure that it's an us thing and not an I thing. Now, there's a lot there, but I'll go through it every step so that you understand what is the actual actions that I think will make sense based on the issues that we are going through, the vision that we have as an administration, and how will we go about getting there. So, as you can see there, this is the cycle. So we're going to start off in the red zone. As you can see, the red zone is where we are currently. Why is it in red? Because we want people to know who CI is. So we need to rebuild those relationships, rebuild those, the trust, and rebuild also the confidence that people had in us previously. We want to bring that back to life. So we want to start over. We will build, obviously, relationship, but we also want to maintain those relationships. It's not just about saying hi, but it's also like we can always come back and ask for help and vice versa. Social media, obviously, is key in today's world. As Pastor Emba said previously, there was no social media, but today we can definitely leverage social media to make sure that people know who we are and what we do, what we stand for, and how we plan on helping them as well. We also want to partner with different people, different institutions, people who are good at different things. And by doing that, we're going to build relationships, and then with those relationships, we'll be able to bring it back to our community so that people feel supported and we can help them depending on different issues that they may face. And then finally, we want to bring back the notion of togetherness. So a lot of time, as I said, the community is broken, but we can fix it by bringing people together and have, giving them the idea of we can be together and we can work together. So once we've done all of this, so again, introduction and building trust, because we need to build people's trust. We then move on to phase 2. So phase 2 is we need money, right? So everything that we do, we need some type of finance to make it happen, such as today, for example. So phase 1 is we're going to have a membership program that will help us actually secure the funds that we need. Phase 2 is we'll need support through grants and donations and sponsorships, just to make sure that we have some sort of financial stability to help us actually support the community and do things that make sense moving forward. And then finally, we're going to leverage our culture, because we do provide a lot of out there. So we'll use those then for people to purchase so that the money will continue, will remain within the community so that we can also use that to help with different things. So now that we've went through phase 1 and phase 2, we move on then to the green part, which is number 3. Number 3 is basically doing all the things. So taking actions after we've done the introduction, after we've secured the funding, now we need to have an action and really start doing what the community wants us to do, which is work in order to support them. So we're going to build the website and the mobile application. And again, we're living in a tech world today, so we want everyone to be able to, to use their mobile phones, and they know everything that they need to know, whether it's happening in Ireland, happening back in the Congo, so they're going to use that. So the same way that we all use Facebook, Instagram, this will basically be a marketplace for the Congolese living in Ireland. We're going to use this as well as a news outlet where people are aware of different activities that we will be doing, and also just they're aware of things such as what's happening in the East, for example. A lot of kids who are a little bit younger are not aware, so we want to educate them so they are up to speed in terms of what's happening in their nation back home. Obviously, I mentioned social media already, how we can leverage it, but we also want to conduct a census for the Congolese. We want to know where everyone is located, and then with that information, we'll be able to prioritize which county to focus on first. Because as I said, at the moment, we have like a rough figure, but I strongly believe that there's a lot more of us living in Ireland. And then we'll introduce educational, physical, and recognition activities, which means we're going to have like different events that we'll be doing, but meaningful events. When I say events, I don't mean us priding. We've done a lot of that, but this is more like things that can help people just become great in life, whether it's career-wise, whether it's education-wise, or whether it's just, something that is socially positive as well. And then once we've done all those things, we want to support. Like we really want to be on the field, showing people what we're doing, supporting them on a day-to-day basis. So we're going to tackle healthcare, we're going to tackle homeless, we're going to tackle education, finance, legal, integration and inclusion, as I mentioned earlier on. And then we want to be basically the middle person when it comes to, the Congolese person and different institutions. Because a lot of times, all they need is really information. And most of the time we will have it, but sometimes when we don't, we know where to go to find that information. So that is something that we will spend a lot of time doing. And then we're going to promote new and existing businesses. So we're going to have different ways. We're going to work with, different platforms to make sure that people from the Congo who are contributing as well in Ireland, that they have like a platform that represents them. And then we're going to tackle issues such as life insurance and pension, which is almost a taboo as well for people from our community. We want to make sure that, there are schemes that can support them. We're going to partner with different companies. And then we're going to educate our mothers, our fathers. We're going to educate our young sisters and brothers as well, so that they can take out these plans to set themselves and their kids up for success. And then physical location is also one thing we'll be focusing on, making sure that through all the funding, we are using this, the funds the right way. We are securing an area that will be mainly for the Congolese that they can go to. They can feel like they are from, they're in the Congo just for a split second. We want them to get more educated around our history. We want them to, to have a place where they can just go and maybe work from there. So we will do this through different community centers and actually having a physical location that is owned and, by someone like me or Derek and anyone else, but someone who's from the Congo and who's able to also, represent that kind of safety nest, I guess, for someone who is maybe a little bit skeptical, doesn't know what to do and so on. So that is the goal. And then finally, we want to introduce some type of identification cards. Obviously, we all have our passports, we all have different things, but we want to make sure that we are able to also recognize someone who's from the Congo and has been living here. So this will be a long-term goal. Now, the vision is 5 year. It's a 5-year plan. Now, I'm gonna start it. Hopefully, the next person will just, carry on what I've started, and so on and so on. So, it is impossible to do things in like 2-3 years, but you need a 5-year plan, and that is exactly what I set out to do. So, in the first year, which is the first 100 days, effective from January 1st, as I said, I'm actually committing to making sure that we have our own website, so CCI's website. I want to make sure that we have a social media presence, which some of you would have noticed already. And then I want to make sure that we have our own media platform where we can actually push forward the content that is meaningful to the Congolese and also that is able to embody Congo and Ireland as well. So for everything, there's always a goal. So you need to make sure that you have, timelines as far as when you want to achieve those things. So the main goal is to try and get all of this done between now and March, so that we are continuing to work on the remaining of the goals for the entire year. As you can see, we will also doing a lot of introduction, right? So introduction meaning we will go to places where Congolese people can be found. We'll go to places where Congolese people hang around. We'll go to places where Congolese people just, they spend a lot of time there so that we can build those relationships, build those trusts, and hopefully get them to believing that there's hope again. So when we build the relationship, we're going to, as I said, we're going to earn trust, but most importantly, we'll be able to continue to kind of like promote the awareness that we're looking for as not only a community, but also an administration that is here to represent people from the Congo. And then we're going to secure funding because, as I said previously, we need to secure funding. So we will assemble a group of board members, so 8 to 12, which we're currently working on at the moment. And then we'll have our membership program, which I will share with you shortly. But the goal is to also have a minimum of 25 signatures so that we are up and running, and then slowly but gradually we'll get to the 100 that we hope to get to by the end of the year. And then once we've done that, we want to kick off our events. So events is basically what will bring us back together again. Putting partying aside, we will do meaningful events. We're going to start off with our community game night, which we plan to do in February. We want people to kind of like come out because during COVID, everyone stayed in. They stopped believing in, anything to do with our community. So we want to get the community, bring the community back again. When I say game nights, I mean games that we would typically play in the Congo, such as dice games, cards, for some, and things that really resonates with our culture as well. And then we're going to have a lot of fitness activities, which Derek will lead. And then we will also have our International Women's Day because we want to honor our mothers, our young sisters, older sisters for what they've achieved so far. So we want to make sure that we are honoring them on a yearly basis. We want to conduct a lot of focus groups. We'll start off with the youth, we'll move on to the elders, and then we'll move on to pastors. The reason why there is different kind of like groups is because, as I said, currently we are like this. What we want to do is we'll take baby steps. We're going to meet with the fathers, we'll meet with the mothers, we'll meet with the youth, understand what issues each group is facing, and then we're going to regroup everyone together and then tackle those issues. And once we do that, then there's going to be different conversations happening, and eventually we'll be able to achieve the main goals that we're looking for, which is making sure that everyone is successful, but successful working together. And then we'll do a lot of seminars. So seminars is making sure that we are educating people around different topics, such as mental health, for example. That's one thing. Also, life insurance, pension schemes. These are things that to some people they're just scared because they hear these big words and they're like, oh, someone might debit my account, but that's not the case. We really want to tell them that it is possible. We're going to show them how, and we'll also get support from different companies because, what we plan on doing here is bringing new business to these companies anyway. So by doing that, then we will get additional discounts, which will make even the cost a lot cheaper if you decide to then come into one of these. We're also going to conduct a Congolese Independence Day, which we do every year. And the goal is to have like a family day where everyone will feel included, whether you're young, whether you're a child, whether you're a youth, or whether you're a mother or a father. The goal is for everyone to feel included. And during this day, what we'll do is there's going to be activities, there's going to be games for the children, there's going to be someone performing, there's going to be someone giving a speech around the history of our country. And again, the goal is to bring people together once again. And then we'll do something that has never been done before, which is a Congolese Excellence Award ceremony, which we plan on also running this year. Again, the goal is to put Congo back on the map in a positive way by, promoting people who are achieving things in life, whether it's career-wise, whether it's a talent, just something that, will give this person a bit of a boost to continue doing what they're doing and hopefully achieve success. And then we'll also be partnering with Miss Congo to make sure that this year's Miss Congo is even better than last year, and then the next year we'll do the same and so on. And by doing this, we are once again raising awareness, but we're also promoting different businesses within the community. Now, on the very right-hand side is just, these are the targeting, because we want to be very dramatic, we want to be realistic, we don't want to just put any numbers out there. We're going to target almost one of each, with the exception of obviously the sports activities that Derek will lead. The goal there is to have maybe 1, 2, or even 3. But again, it will all depend on the attendance and depending on who will actually show up. But yeah, I guess it's always good to have a number in mind. I'm pretty confident that we can surpass this. But for now, at least between now and 100 days from now, we want to make sure that we are hitting those goals. And then finally, these are things that we've already done, things that are already in motion. We want to proactively and reactively support the Congolese people in Ireland. By that is, we are already doing so many things in the background, but these are things that will manifest themselves when we are on the field. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we don't miss anything when it comes to supporting the Congolese. This here is just a handful of things that are listed, but we're not limiting ourselves to anything. There's going to be more things that you will bring to us that we will have to tackle and address. So Congolese passport application, this is something that is ongoing where we don't have an embassy here. The embassy is located in the UK. We need to make sure that we are making it easier for people in the Congo who need these passports and making sure that we are the middle person to help navigate those conversations. We're going to conduct local office hours, which basically means we will go to different places, depending on where the people live. We'll just sit there and invite people to come over, ask us questions, and see if there's any way we can support them. Sometimes it's just a case of, oh, here's the link, go there, they have what they want, or sometimes it's, let's try to figure this out together. But I think just that support system alone, the fact that they can go to someone for help, would actually, change something for some, for one of us and hopefully for most of us in the long run. So office hours essentially is someone from the administration who will show up. We want to announce this a week, 2 weeks prior, and then we invite the community to come one by one. So pretty much similar to what TDs do today. We will have a case, and then we're going to, kind of like tackle those issues by speaking to some of our colleagues here who can actually help out, and then bring the answers back to them. And the reason why it's going to be so important if it comes from us is because sometimes there's a language barrier. So us kind of like, gathering the information and then being able to explain it to someone else and getting that, the right answers and then bringing it back to the people is essentially the main goal. And then Community passings, unfortunately, these things that I know for a fact we'll have to do on a regular basis. If someone passes away, how do we go about doing it? Sometimes I might reach out to Pastor Remba, who has experience, and will kind of like show me how to how to do it and how to announce it, and also just how to support the family. Everyone is different in terms of how they grieve, so some information is not for the public. So what we will be doing is, first of all, getting the permission from the family, and then through that we'll know, okay, what is the best way to support them moving forward. Immigration, integration, and also inclusion is critical, right? And we all said here, a lot of things is happening within the community that we need to address, and these are also some of the things. So it's a case of making sure we have an expert who is Vicky, who's going to help us, navigate those conversations. But we want to make sure we are, showing to the people that, we can also help with this. We might not have the answer right now, but we can bring back the answer so okay, how to, what are the steps that you need to take. Missing person is the other area that we need to really focus on. Someone from the common could be missing, and a lot of times other communities do it. We want to make sure that we are offering that level of support for these people, so that they know that next time if something happens, they can just report it to us right away. Filling in applications, we know that our mothers, our fathers, sometimes they struggle in this field, so we want to make sure we can just hold their hand and help them go through the process, and also educate them so that next time they don't necessarily have to come back to us, they can just do it by themselves. And then we have the jobs, mortgage applications. We also have social welfare, housing issues as well, just within the community that we need to tackle, that we are currently working on. CV, cover letters for anyone looking for a job. Interview preparation as well is key, and then all of these things are things that we are representing when it comes to the community. So as I said, these things are not limited. These are some things, but we'll continue to add more to that list as well. So I want to pivot and maybe just give you a brief overview of our membership program that we will be running. So it's called For Us by Us, and the reason I call it that is because I strongly believe, I can come up with a PowerPoint, knock on the CEO's doors, and pitch this to them and say, hey, I just need money for my community, and I'm pretty sure someone out there will give it to me, right? But the reason I call it For Us is because I think that we need a foundation. We need to first invest in us before going to seek for help. And then once we've done that, you then have more credibility. People believe in your vision a little bit more, and they are willing then to give you the hand that you need to make it happen. So basically what we're trying to do is create a Congolese ecosystem. What does this mean is that we want people from the community to invest in their community so that the funds are just circling around and just going back into the same people. Single communities do, it's just that there hasn't been enough of that in our community, so we need to reintroduce this. So what does it mean? So essentially what it means is, so we have different members, so someone from the, people from the community, they then, they basically commit. So we have different memberships. So we have the standard, we have the silver, we have the gold, and we have the platinum as well. And then we have the friend of the Congo, right? So the reason I'm calling them those is because they all have, there's something special attached to each, right? When we look at the numbers, someone might go, oh, wow, that's a lot for me. But the reason I came up with those numbers is because we need funding in order to actually get the ball rolling, in order to actually help the community the way that it needs to be helped. So once we've kind of like, really uncovered who, the different types of memberships, the goal then is to have a target audience, right? So we're not going to go to someone who is not earning any money to support because they don't have, the financial resources, but we'll go to people who we believe can afford these things, people who believe in the vision, people who believe in the community, and people who are just willing to help out. As I said previously, friend of the Congo could be anyone here who's not from the Congo, who's just willing, they looked over these slides and they said, you know what, why not help them? And then they'll just give you an open hand. But someone who's a member is someone who will have a say depending on different changes that we want to make for things to move forward. So that's step one. And then step two is, what are you getting then in return if you decide to invest in a community, in your community? The first thing is, obviously, we want to make sure that people have cards, so you are recognized. You're not just a nobody. We want to make sure that people's credibility is increased, because when you do invest in communities, it's actually just viewed a lot positive, and it actually opens up a lot of doors for you, whether it's professionally or just in general. It's also good to recognize the people, so we'll be able to recognize you as a member on our website, and again, this adds to the credibility point. And then we will also be giving you exclusivity into our vision, what we're doing, and what are the next goals, what are the baby steps that we're making, and all those. These are information that you'll be the first person to get access to before it is presented to the public. And then we will have a voting system as well, depending on what we need to change. As a member, you will have access to that. We're going to also conduct meetings where there will be transparency around where the funds are going, what have we done with them, who did what, and again, with the help of the accountant and also the treasurer, will be able to then provide this information to everyone investing. And then full transparency is key, because again, this is something that has been lacking a little bit in our community, so we want to make sure it's out there. Every piece of information is in front of you, and you know exactly what you're putting yourself into. So once we've done all that, then the next stage is for us to prove to you what we're doing with those funds. So we're putting them towards website and mobile application maintenance. We are, using those funds for overhead costs because we need a physical location. We will be using those funds for community events that will be conducted throughout the year. We're going to invest into businesses. We're going to obviously need our own physical presence, so we'll be using the funds for that. And then everything that is proactive and reactive, we need obviously funds. So if we were to do an office hour, for example, at a hotel, we need to pay to make sure we have the space for, a short period of time and so on. So once we've done all this, as you can see, the funds will just, as I said, will go around and will remain in the community. And then if we feel like we need more, we can always go and ask for more. There's a lot of support systems out there. But I want to really, really put the emphasis on, it's for us. It has to come from us first before going to the next person, because if we don't do it that way, then what might happen is your community could be managed by someone who doesn't really have a clue about what needs to be done for the community. Now, how will it work? It's very straightforward. There's going to be an agreement that we will reach between CCI and the member. It's going to be a 1-year contract with a 3-month proof of concept. And what I mean by that is, at the moment, they still have a lack of trust, so we need to ensure that we rebuild the trust. So if you decide to be a member, you get a clause. There's a clause where we don't even want to. But if you decide to stick around to see what else we are doing for the community, it will be a 1-year contract where you can, you have the option to renew or not. And then you also have the option to ask questions, so you know exactly what is it that CCI is doing with the funds. You will have 4 types of payment frequencies. So you have annually, biannually, quarterly, monthly. So once an agreement is reached, what happens then is the contract is then drafted, and then it is signed by myself, and then you will sign it as well as a member. And then step 3 is we then, have to put our actions into motion, and we need to execute based on, now that we have the funds, what are we doing with them, and making sure that we're proving the value to you as well. And then moving on in the next year, obviously, nothing really will change. As I said, it's a 5-year contract, but we want to make sure we are setting realistic expectations, right? So as I was saying, for the first introduction, we want to make sure that we are targeting, we want to focus on Ireland, but we'll also focus on other areas as well. By Ireland, I mean Dublin, but we'll also move on and make sure that everyone in Ireland knows who CCI is by the end of 2023. And then in terms of securing funding, as I said, the goal is we want to make sure we get to 100 signatures by the end of the year. Again, this is being realistic. By 100 signatures, I mean we have to at least interact with 200 people in order to get the 100 minimum. If we get more, then it's all great. But that is the only thing that will change. But in terms of events, it will be quarterly, monthly, and annually, just depending on the event and depending on the, you know, the financial structure that we do have. And then proactive and reactive support will be continuous. This is essentially what makes CCI. We want to make sure that we are taking actions. We're actually doing the work. We're on the field. People know who we are. People feel like, okay, I don't have to go anywhere else. I have this group of people who are here for me in any way, shape, or form. And when we get to year 2, which is 2024, we'll continue, obviously, you know, interacting with different people. But in terms of securing funding, we'll aim for 200, and it'll be 100 every year. And then introduction to the remaining counties, we want to make sure that all of that is already said and done, so that people, you know, they have, and again, an idea of what we do, and hopefully there's more positive, I guess, impression when you mention CCI. And then everything else, again, is exactly the same, because, you know, we want to make sure that our presence is felt everywhere that we go, whether it's in Dublin or just across Ireland overall. In year 3, again, there's not a lot of things that are changing. It's just when it comes to introduction, going back to securing funds, we're going to aim for 300. But we're going to start a new scheme as well, because we want to introduce loans to the community, right? A lot of time, people might be on social welfare, they don't qualify for a bank loan. So with the small amounts that we'll be getting through funding, through different support systems from, you know, different institutions, we'll be able to enable the people from our country to have some sort of, you know, loans, so they can, you know, they can help, so it can actually help them achieve something, whatever the case may be. But I'm not talking millions here. I'm just talking small amount, just something to set someone up for success, to get them to at least accomplish something. But that's the only, you know, thing that will change in year 3, with the continuous effort to kind of like get more signatures as well. Now, when we get to year 4, we will then introduce 3rd level education scholarships. So this is something that has been lacking in a way as well, where someone might be qualified, they've done everything that they need to do in school, but they just don't know where to go to, right? So we want to make sure we are providing, again, we'll start off with partial scholarships, and then the goal is to hopefully help 1 to 2 kids from the Congo go to college, get gain admission, to whether it's UCD, DIT, all the big universities that we are all familiar with. But again, going back to securing funding, we will continue there and add an additional 100, because funding is what will help us continue to offer the support that the community needs. But that's something new that we will bring in, because we believe in year 4 there's going to be some funds, there's going to be structure, and we'll be able to achieve those things. And then finally, in year 5, we're going to aim to hit the 500 or more in signatures, but we're going to step up a little bit when it comes to scholarships. There's going to be partial, but there's going to be full scholarships as well. So we're aiming for two car show, but we're aiming, two of each, but we could also do more. It will all depend on what we can actually afford. If you look at the finance side of things, and then we want to introduce the identity cards, which is making sure that we are aiming for at least 20%, because we know that it will take baby steps for us to achieve just that. So that is year 5. And as I said previously, the goal is we're going to do the exact same things, but it's going to be on a yearly basis. It's going to be the exact same things, but we're going to introduce little things depending on what we can actually afford, depending on the number of people we have on the team, and depending on the support that we are getting from everyone in this room, everyone living in Ireland, that is from the Congo. So that is the end of the vision that I was able to put together. But what I would like to do is, first of all, give everyone the opportunity to ask any questions, if you want me to clarify anything, or if you just have a comment to add, feel free to speak up. Thank you.
Did you just stand up and just ask?
Yeah, thank you very much, and congratulations for the election. Your presentation was very honest. We know very correctly my name is Isa from Congo. I'm not in your generation. I'm the son of Pastor Rema. I'm very close. I love the vision you share with us. And the one thing that I would advise you, maybe I don't know, more consoling for Pastor Rema and reading, because I see all the team. I would love to see one of those men in your team. That's my advice to you. Put one of them in the team, regardless if old or not. Put it there. So get advice from it. The second thing I'm going to say is the vision is clear. Perfect. But next time give us the papers, whatever you are showing us, so we can have it go home, see it, read, understand, and individual people can come to you with the remark. But like this, it's been a long vision, and people do not get it in their head. So your voice Fallon is a very great work today. Fallon sent a message to remind people to come in the meeting. I was not going to come today, but she said, you come in, confirm to me. And I was like waking me up in the morning. Today I said, okay, I have to go. But we see the message in the CC, the group, in the community, but the way Fallon contacts individual people make people come here. And I'm just going to say congratulations to her. I don't know who she is, but that was a very professional way of getting people to come in. I came because she was insisting. I'm from sales, so I know what I'm telling you. Another thing I want to tell you is your vision is great. People, 100 signature, 200 signature, you can get it. Fine. But I did not see how you are really going to support the individual business owner. I give you an example. I live in Tala. In Tala, all the Congolese people go to buy in the Pakistani shop in Tala. There's no Congolese own the shop. I do not see your vision of how you can support a Congolese person who's having the same vision, so Congolese can buy from Congolese. I'm going to tell you something that came in 2003. But now you can see all the petrol stations owned by Asian people, Pakistanis, Indian people. Because I'm not against them, but they are organized, but they are supporting each other in the way to move forward. So before you go to the way of getting the signature of people, we need to support people who can do business individually. We need to support, as you said in your slides. I was hoping to say, okay, who owns the space, who's doing a shop in the community, identify them, and try to support them. That means you have your team, you have Fallon is doing a great job, very good job. Fallon, I don't know how. And I know Elizabeth Kalas will do a great job as well for marketing and for the press. go buy from Congolese. Let's say any lady here say I want to open my shop, or this guy or Lambi can open his African shop. Buy Congolese, then support Congolese. Then you go to the guy who say, I'm going to get 20% or 30% of any business that Congolese are going to buy from you. With this code, you get the money. You come to me and you say, okay, we say, have a code. If someone book from Congolese, give me 30% of the booking from the code. So in this way, you are going to get a revenue, a stream of revenue that is secure. And you are doing business to them. But waiting 100 people to sign $25 euros per month, I believe the young people can do it, but you will be losing a lot of people for the things I'm trying to tell you. Another thing as well is I did not see the plan for the youth. A lot of our youth are getting lost in their community. They are getting involved in the drugs. They're getting involved in the gun. They're getting involved in a lot of things. I do not see in your plan. I know you're going to put it. So if you, I know you're going to put it there. Put plan for youth as well. Events, football, music. We have like 5 or 6 public R&B in Dublin. I don't know if you know. They are playing music. We have a Bruce. We have people who are doing already music. How are we going to support them? How are we going to organize the event? If you, the community, take it in front, you will get the revenue you need on top of the signature. So that was my comment.
Thank you.
It's just for time purpose, all right? It's just not just for everybody else. It's question and answers.
Okay.
For any feedback, we talk to the president after the meeting.
Okay.
Just clarify feelings first. So if we stand here, let's give feedback, we will get to it. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Or if you have any feedback, talk to the president of the team after the meeting. Is that okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm just going to say a few words and then I'll pass it to that was questions. So this is high level. You know, when it comes to vision, it's high level. Everything that you mentioned is part of the vision. It's just that we're going to dissect it slowly, right? So I'm just going to address some of the things that you mentioned. So, you know, this is have a moment of transparency. So the first thing around having someone more experienced, yes, we do have people more experienced helping out in the background. It's just sometimes you might not see them here yet. These are the people who are officially working with us every day. But behind that, there's people like you, there's people like, you know, my brother and the guy next to you. So these are people that I have conversation with and they give me ideas as well, things that I can also implement within, you know, what we're doing with CCI. So as I said, it's an us thing, it's not a me thing. So everything that we're doing, we want to make sure that everyone feels heard, whether it's someone young, someone a little bit older, someone who's, you know, maybe in their 60s, but we want to make sure that everyone is included. And then when you mention businesses, again, part of the plan, but this is just, you know, it's high level. When we say support, it's supporting literally everyone and making sure that we are addressing all of the things that you mentioned. And then for the youth, the man just sitting behind you has already everything mapped out, because this is more like a global vision, but we will then start to tackle every single field, and that's where you'll see another vision, you know, on top of this, and so on and so on.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mama Timothy. Hi. Yeah, I just want to ask, how CCA would support young generation who's struggled in some subject in school?
That's a good question. Sorry, I just feel like there's so many things what to do here. I just want to.
So I'll give the youth ambassador to just maybe share a few words on that, and then I'll get back to you.
My name is Josh. It's actually French Josué, and it's my first time. It's my first time seeing so many people in one place. I'm even on Congolese myself. I was raised in Congo. I'm moved here when I was 13. I had no English whatsoever, and I settled in Quebec. That's where I basically went to second school. So 5 years later, I did my leaving cert. I had 545 points. Like I basically told myself 2 things. Right, so after my leaving cert, I went to UCD. I did science, and of course, that was something I was very passionate about since I grew up in Congo. I know a lot of infectious disease, like basically kills people and stuff. So it's something. So I'm basically just shaped that all my strengths. And so like Congo is basically my home. So I went to UCD 4 years, did microbiology, and I finished my first class. So I wanted something different again, of course, in Ireland. So the first thing I looked was integration. And of course, looking at people like myself, there weren't that many UCD. And of course, like the first thing we often with here, that's what unites us. But at the same time in Ireland, it's about integration. And the best way to integrate is education. That's literally like the base, and that's something that my parents taught me from a very young age. I haven't seen my mom since I was 14. I'm 25 now. Well, I already knew I've seen my mom struggle, and of course, you guys have kids probably around my age, or they're coming through the university. So after UCD, I basically went to tax. So I'm basically a qualified tax advisor. Just finished my exams there with that PhD, and I just went down to work in an American company down there. I basically kind of like did everything, but then I wasn't really I don't know if that makes sense. I was just I had to step back. What they usually say, to see a problem, you have to be outside the problem to see it. When you're within a problem, you don't actually get to see anything because you're out there. You're part of the problem. So like, I know a few people here just because of my interaction with fewer people and stuff. And I always wanted to get back to the community. I wanted to paint a different picture that I didn't see, what I wanted to see. They always say, be somebody that you wanted. Be somebody or be someone you always wanted that wasn't there. So that's what it's education where we can start. I don't want to tell someone what you're doing wrong. It's about being a role model. The key word is mentorship. It's mentoring people. I want to put a plan in place. So my plan is still for the junior cert because I know that's very key. It's coming very soon. I didn't know anything about this system, but there's a page I saw from this community in Ireland. I put my name up, I put a post back in 2021 where I was like, I would volunteer my side, one free of charge. Anyone that's doing the research, and I have no reply. It's about holding people accountable. Like, thank God you asked that question. Well, I'm sure many people here are on that group chat. Where was the reply to my one free of charge? I would basically put myself, I was still doing my own exams, my science exams. But I was like, I would answer any question.
Before leaving SAIT, there's a children in second class, in third class, who's struggling maybe math in Ghana before. Before, to work for
primary school or secondary school?
No, secondary school.
So you do junior cert first, and you need to
Yeah.
So I said 81.
Okay.
There was no reply. So it's about holding people accountable. We can point out problems. Or even if you aren't accountable, you can find it. You can find a problem, you need to put steps to put a solution. I will not go to your house and give you a solution.
Thank you.
It's not going to happen. Okay. It's about holding people accountable. This is something I've seen it happen all the time, and I face it myself. And it's just about accountability. There's a problem. I can't help you if you don't put the step. You need to reach out to me. I need to reach out to you. It's a two-way street. That's basically where you need to go. For now, junior cert is important. Fair enough. But I want to focus on the living cert because the living cert is possible when you start deciding where you want to be. I knew mine before going to Ireland. But many people here don't. They're still struggling to find themselves what they want to do.
Yeah, what about other subjects? That's it.
Alright, so basically that's the thing again. If you are in the group chat, I posted a free of charge again. That my friend of mine is doing this company as well, like myself, we're always been on the shadow. It's free of charge every Saturday. He has Zoom links where he's teaching like maths or any subject you can join. And join. It's not the thing, resources are there. Like this whole community thing, we're not facing those problems. We are making up where things that people didn't exist. It's basically putting the resources out there for you to use. If you don't use it, you are accountable for not using it. That's basically for the living junior cert, living cert, I have a thing up there and I have a plan which I can share with you. This is just a level. But there are things that put behind the scenes that will basically be made a work to implement.
So, yeah, I think that was a great question. Just to add to that, it's very straightforward. We're going to cover every generations, right? So going back to your question, once we have a physical location, there's going to be a history for children, right? Where people can learn about where they come from and so on. There's going to be a support system. People like you and I who can provide grinds to everyone of age. But there might be a cost, but it'll be less than what you would pay to a typical someone who is experienced in that field, for example. But the end goal is for us to have a location where you walk in. If you need someone to play an instrument, there's a studio there for someone who is like us, who is talented. Back to our brother's question. If you play sports, there's someone for sports. If you need support with your studies, someone is there to support you. So that is the end goal is like to have that system established. But we can only do it once we have a location, because we don't want to invite you everywhere in different hotels in Dublin to conduct these activities. And going back to the brother's question, I forgot to answer this part as well. Around businesses, when we have a website, it's going to be, as I said, a marketplace. So if there's a lady, because a lot of our mothers do it, where they sell something, but they're not out there, no one knows about it. So we can already support that. If you need to buy something, here's the contact details, you can go there. So that's only on the, if on the website, on the platform. But the physical one, we will be conducting business focus groups where we'll invite people over so they can actually share with us, okay, what is your business? What is the vision? And then we have a room of experts who can also help them. Because we're just here to provide the information, but you also need to take those steps. I can't build everyone's businesses for them. I'm just here to say, here's what you need to do to actually get this done. And then if you don't do it, then I have to hold you accountable for that.
Anybody else? It is not.
Hello. Really good presentation. I guess I studied business prior to learning to regards, and I worked a lot with minority syndrome and again, I guess one of the main questions is the organization of minority, what are you firstly? And then I guess I worked with both as well, and I was curious as to how they worked with different things. You have a lot of information that I feel like is promising a lot. I don't know if you identify different timeline, but I don't know, I guess it's like driving them, I guess. If you have full-time job on the side of this, how feasible is it really? So, and also in relation to, you're talking about grants, outside grants, but this is just inclusive for the Congo community. So, what is the reason why an outsider will give a grant? The majority of the grants have to be inclusive. So again, we work with an organization called Culture Connect a lot. We're originally from Nigeria, but they work with all migrant communities. And I guess that's how they became a business. They offer grinds at an lower rate. Any issues, any queries that you have, they have an answer to with a fee, of course.
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So to answer the first one, it is legally, it will be run, as a charity, because it is a community. So, on paper, it is a charity organization with a group of people helping the community. So that is how we will be presenting this. But to your point around charities, we will work closely with charities that are already established here in Ireland, catering to different communities, catering to the Congo as well. So the goal is, while we will, run the business, we're going to call it business as a charity, there will also be a charity by us that will also help different, people in different areas and also people in the Congo. And then to your second point around, I believe it was the time and resources. So I have, the job that I do today gives me a bit of time versus the average person. So I'm actually able to, to multitask. So that's number one. Number two is the team that I presented today is just, it's not even half of it, right? The goal is to have everyone, for each role, we might have 3, 4, 5 people so that we can all work together and everyone is focusing in one single area. I don't know if you if you know a lot about just the Congolese community, but when we put our minds to it, we get things done, right? So I know that people are ambitious, people are very hardworking, and as I said, I have a big job, I have a family at home. I'm able to run a lot of things because I want to do it. So I think what we look for are those people like me who are actually passionate about doing a lot of things. To give you an example, I have 5 people that I depend on to run an event if I was to do an event. And if you ask anyone who has actually attended any events that we've done, those people have always showed up because they believe in my vision. So all we look for is not necessarily a number, but if you have some, a number of people who are at least passionate about the goal or the idea, I believe that it is achievable. And I've already been in just, Waterford alone. I saw how a lot of people are willing to help, and that's only Waterford. The goal is to go to each county where, Congolese people are based and help, hopefully have them as well, help out in different areas, but focusing on their own county. And then finally, to your point around getting grants, the reason grants is up there is because I work for a tech company today, and I know how heavy they are when it comes to supporting communities. So by grants, I just don't mean that they'll just throw money at us and then we go, the goal is they're going to invest depending on what is the actual, what is the community about, like what do you guys focus on, teaching them what is actually happening, because a lot of times people just need to be educated on exactly what is happening, and then through that, we'll be able to build more information, more trust. But I think for the company, at least that I work for today, if I was to say, I'm from this community based on what I've achieved for you for the last 5 years, I need you to give me X amount. I'm pretty confident they will. So the goal is to then use the same people like me who are in, maybe these big roles that can also help. And it's not something that we want to put out there for every single company. It's not the case, but it's all about knowing the culture of that company. Are they very big on, diversity and inclusion, and then going towards them for support.
Thank you for your presentation, and I think it's very interesting. As you said, it's very ambitious. There's a lot of that in there, and I also wanted to ask, how are you organized? Are you a company limited by guarantee? Do you have a charity number? You cannot accept any donations if you don't have a charity number. And I know because I'm being audited by the charity regulator, because I asked for 500 euro on it. So be very, very careful on how you do this. Make sure you are established. It will take at least a year before you have a charity number. And then any director who is on the board of management is not allowed to work or earn any money from the community. So I think the first thing you need to learn is governance. And I've seen that in the African Solidarity Center, the fact that people don't know governance rules can really, really cause trouble. So the first thing is to train the board of management, which should not be too big because it's unmanageable, but to train everyone in governance rules. And I think you should contact Real for that. Real is a very good supporting organization because of this kind of training. So yeah, I just
thank you.
Yeah.
No, but that's a great question, and great points that you made as well. So the vision is basically based on the assumption that all of these things are done. I'm not going out there and saying, no, we've established all the legal steps. Everyone is trained. We have a board of, board members, all of that, right? Then only we can go ahead and do all of this, right? So I just want to make it clear based on the company kind of like status for now. That's something that we're already working on in the background. So the goal is to get the charity number done, and then we tackle some of those things. But in terms of events and things of that nature, those are things that we can already do because they're coming out of our own pockets. But as far as donations, money, and so on, those we'll kick those off once legally we are in a good standing.
It takes me ages to stand up, so I'll be very short. Ken McHugh is my name. I'm a cultural planner with the organisation in Saka Ireland. A lot of the work we do is working with young Africans. We had a small section as well, which is very successful. I also work in the north of Ireland. I'm just wondering, have you considered an online approach to this? For the simple reason that you're more inclined to get funding from Northern Ireland sources, like the peace money, for example, which covers the border counties. So there's a Congolese community in Pennsylvania and Holland as well. So, you know, if you can tie them together, I think you'd have more success. We used that, can't say that with this one. We used a good laugh years ago with the Congolese born Senator David Norris. He said to me, every time he writes Congo, people in the dog think they're talking about Tarzan and the apes. I never heard of the Congo. They didn't know what the Congo was. He thought it was fictional. And we had terrible trouble trying to get that on the map, you know. So I think it's really good. I think your community development program is it is ambitious, but it's a very real one as well in many ways. So I would look at that, you know, and look at the North Ireland. I would also talk to the people in the credit union movement, instead of the credit union, because that's where the microfunding comes from. Yeah. Because it's not in Congo, you've got it in Congo now, so why not do it here, you know? And finally, I gave my comrade, Piano, a football shirt, an international football shirt from DRC. So, yeah, Derek can make use of that to maybe raise something for the sports department. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think, you know, in terms of, you know, funding and going to different places, that's not a problem at all. I think just in terms of counties, we want to limit it to 26 for now because there's only so much we can do, but we will get to that and we'll make sure that, you know, we are knocking on all those and getting as much help as we can. And then just around, you know, sports and football and so on, you know, we're also working on potentially, you know, building like a youth team as well, where, you know, we'll have some sponsorships and, you know, we can also help out in different ways. But yeah, that's something that we're really working on as well in the background. But I do appreciate your feedback around funding, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll take just one more question at a time. Obviously, like questions anybody have questions? All right, so nobody, perfect.
Maybe just to finish it, and then I promise I'll give you the mic there. No, but I want to say thank you all. I think everyone looking at that will go, oh, you know, that's a lot, but okay, but we can do it. And I'm very confident that we can. I'm standing here in front of you all because I'm fearless. I believe that if you put your mind to something, you can make it work. I believe that there's a lot of resources in this room. You've all, you know, pinpointed a lot of things that I can already apply. So I'm, you know, open to obviously hearing a lot of those ideas. But for me to look at that and say it's a lot, you know, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you. So I appreciate everyone, you know, coming down and, you know, asking questions and listening to me talk on for so many minutes. But I think that the goal here is there was something that was missing that I believe. I came up front and I want to really, you know, address them slowly. We're going to make mistakes along the road, but there's a lot of people that will support us, as most of you are here. So I appreciate your time. Sorry, the brother, you did mention having the paper ready and so on. So this was more as of an exclusive event. The next one we will do will be to invite the entire community down. That's where you will have access to all of it. There's going to be a version in French as well. So this is just because I knew the audience, but there's going to be a copy for everyone as well.
Hi guys, so as you probably see from the presentation, the vision is big, he's ambitious, that's what I mean, he's courageous, he's bold, that's why he decided to put everything, and obviously everything that he put there is not going to go on for 1 year, it won't be achieved in 1 year, so we hope year by year we get one step closer, and like our young brother here says, together we can go far. Together we can go far, together we can be stronger as possible. Right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call the VP, the Vice President, who's gonna say a few words before we go to the event. All right, can you give him one applause, please?
Hello everyone. First, I just want to thank everyone sitting here to invite the opportunity and respect to bring the community to strong talk and to show up. And also like to thank the president for his time, his consideration for this role, which I think with a lot of honor. Basically, everything has been said throughout the service. Mostly, Congo is an amazing country which has a lot of potential. Therefore, we need to put ourselves together, reunite the community, and move it forward. Basically, it's just one thing here, especially with retaining with the broadcasting regarding Congo. As we stand here as individuals and as a group, there's always a group of people that take certain decisions to move things forward. When things are not working well, there's always people that need to move things forward. Just like the project means, there was situations in the Congo where people decided we need to make a change. Just like as we're standing here, we want to make a change, move things in a different direction. That's all part of humanism. The Roger Kissinger was human, showed love. Humanism equals love. Humanism equals tolerance, equal acceptance, and respect. Humanism equals accountability, just like I already said, accountability. Accountability is really important, especially in a community. And I also like to talk about what the pastor said here earlier, very important in regards about the international community position in what's happening in the country. As we look back, in my understanding, Congo is a country that was put together by international community back in 1885 Berlin Conference. Therefore, it is we come to you, international community, to help us to put a stop to the ordeal that's taking place in the country. Because Congolese people are hospitable people, and we do not deserve the ordeal that's taking place. It's been taking for far too long, and action needs to be taken. Enough is enough. Just like also here, people have to make change. It is important. We look each other's faces. Humanism also is part of responsibility. When people take actions which affect other people, they need to be held responsible and accountable. And I'm not taking longer. Also, just to wrap up, humanism is also forgiveness. We need to forgive and live in peace and according in harmony with each other. Because as you know, small world, we can look at each other, one item from different places of the world. So we need to learn to live in accordance with each other in respect, and also have consideration and inclusiveness. Just example, the card right here is a former classmate when same university. So it's important just to have all these things in our mind and look forward to our community, which I think we have great potential. The president is a capable guy, very credible guy, which I believe in his vision. That's the reason why I actually want to get involved and to help our community move forward, strive in a better outcome that we deserve to be involved in. Thank you very much.
I'm just going to call one of the member of the team, Lisette, who's got a few words to say. Can you guys give her a round of applause, please?
As you all know, I think a few people has already mentioned kind of to kind of every single person they bring with here today. Sometimes it's like it always has to be a person that puts pressure on us all the time. So I kind of just we have a really, really good secretary, and we really want to actually honor her because if it wasn't for any she's constantly putting pressure. When I mean pressure, she has it display, as you can see with all the information sent out. So we do want to know her work that she does for us and everything. So we just have a little gesture from the musician team. So for now. As you can see, she always wants to keep everything scheduled. As you know, sometimes schedule doesn't always go to plan. So we do acknowledge the work that you do. So we do appreciate. No one takes it in any offensive way in any way because I know you're no, let's do this. We do appreciate it, and thank you for being the secretary.
Yeah, she calls up the engine of the DS. So, you gotta keep well down. No, guys, so to conclude, first of all, I want to thank all of you for coming down here, for making time to be here and sticking around until this time. Obviously, we started a bit late, but it was obviously we were with you guys as well to show. So, sorry about any delay or so. I just want to conclude by simply saying, you guys sent the invitation for the young people to take over you guys, what you guys have created, and the young people have accepted the invitation and ready to take on what challenges lie ahead. And we don't have all the experiences in the world, but we believe we can achieve what we set out to achieve. So with that being said, we cannot do it alone. We need you to be a part of this journey with us as well. Though you may not be fully active in the organization, but we still need your help, we still need your support, we still need your advice on what to do in order to make this vision be allowed put together a reality. So without the question, the president doesn't have all the answer, but we need your support. We need your support in every possible way in order to advance. So once again, I want to say thank you for your time, for coming in tonight, and we look forward to seeing you in the next event. But just to finish, we started off this event with a prayer by our pastor. I would love to also conclude this event with a prayer. So if you don't mind, we're going to call our pastor to stand up again and conclude the night with a prayer.
Yeah, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you because when we started, we called upon your name, and we asked you to be the Alpha for this event and to be the Omega. And though we reach the end of this event, Father God, we'd like to commit ourselves into your mighty hand. As we are going home, Father God, be with us. Father God, just to commit this organization into your mighty hand. We strongly believe, Father God, we will see your victory to be in this organization. And then you will shed the light in everything, Father God, that this organization would like to do. Father God, thank you for the chairman, the president, and all of his committee, and then all of Congolese people and all the friends of Congo, those who are coming to support the organization. We thank you for everything that you will do. The glory will belong to you. In the mighty name of Jesus, Father God, that we have so prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next event, all right?
Toujours une aime la café non. Monica DJ Mboka. Oh DJ ka Mboka. Yeka mutaya DJ Mboka. DJ Mboka yeka mutaya DJ Mboka. Oh DJ Mboka koma bote. Yeka ila grâce à Mboka na DJ Mboka. Osona na kala. To wadi 50 shares nana nombra ba. Ela só tive na vino cara que tu bota basho. Bolingi